In this video, we are going to talk about Siyethemba Sithebe leaving Kaizer Chiefs. We're also going to talk about some exciting news when it comes to the injury front of Kaizer Chiefs, who's injured, who has recovered, and who will be ready for the next game. We're also going to talk about one fixture that just surprised me because there's been a fixture change in Kaizer Chiefs, and I'm actually not happy about it. Hello and welcome to Coast Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Amakusi Football Club. I smile when I say this now because I've met some people at stadium and then but Amakusi. So yeah, I say it because I know you like it. Anyways, let's start with Siyethemba Sithebe. Sokala Duma has struck again, reporting ukuthi Siyethemba Sithebe is on his way out of Kaizer Chiefs. Now, there are some valid reasons why you might think Sithebe is going to leave Kaizer Chiefs. But the report here Abugwabona is not make sure. Why? Because the report says that Sithebe has not featured so far this season, which as we know is false because Siyethemba Sithebe did play in that game against Mamelodi Sundowns when the coach decided to play three defensive midfielders. Was it a great game? No, it wasn't a great game for him. It wasn't a great game for Matt. It wasn't a great game for anybody because as we've been saying time and time again, if the system is bad, it doesn't matter how good the player is or how average the player is. He's not going to perform if the system is not good enough. If you're just going to put him as one of the three defensive midfielders, he's also just going to try and play defensive work, lose the ball all the time when he wins it back. Why? Because there's no support and the team is not set up to attack. So now apparently he's seen as he's not needed. Just put it in that simple way. Ugutilatuma is saying he's not needed, and the only way that he could stay at Chiefs is if he proves Uguti he's worth being kept in a way. So we are waiting on that front. And to me, my thoughts on this, it's two ways, right? There is this one thing, Uguti, it doesn't make sense because if you look at Chiefs right now, if Castillo gets injured, who's his backup? And someone will say, Panpili, we've already seen Uguti Umatlo is the one who's being trusted by coaches to come in later on and cover for Castillo. But no, he doesn't come on for Castillo, nor does he come on for Matt. He usually comes on for one of the wingers and we have like four midfielders. Or he comes on for and he doesn't come on as a defensive midfield. So he's not really a direct swap for Castillo. Sithebe is still the one who has that defensive mindset and maturity to know how to defend. Because if you look at Zwane, he's okay. He was played against TS Galaxy, but as we have seen, Uguti, Unseg, he's not really favored to Zwane and Umtutuzi Shabalala. So I don't think that's the option that he would go with, and that is why I don't think coach will actually be going for Zwane. It's a bad. It distracted me. While I'm being distracted, please do make sure to subscribe to the channel and also like the video so that it can help me reach more people like you. Okay, so the thing that I don't believe, the other reason why I don't believe this is that Sithebe Kaizer Chiefs is not just a defensive midfielder right now, but it's also one of those players about experience, right? Chiefs. So it adds a balance, the experience in the team that has some of the young players. Yes, there have been new players who have come in and have provided additional experience. Or Titlokwe Umsimango is still young, but he's experienced enough playing at the high level. Uguti, you can't say we are lacking of experience. But if you think about it, once again, what makes me think there might be some validity in this is the fact that look at the Chiefs right now and look at what they've been doing with Utoli. Not Utoli, Utoli is injured. So Kulmanga injured Utoli in a moment. With Sithebe, not Dov. Dovena is injured. But Sithebe is always seen in the pictures of activations. And since the game is Sundowns, he's not been anywhere to be seen. So it links to something else that I want to talk about. Uguti, I hear people a lot saying Guti Zwane is still coaching. I don't get where people get that thing from. Because here's the thing. You have a player like Umtutu Shabalal, who was seen as a player who was coming up and being introduced by Zwane to the squad. Where is he now? He sits on the bench, and even in games that you see Guti, he can have an impact. Like he came in Sundowns, he wasn't played. In some games, he doesn't play. You're like, why is he not being brought on? Instead, the player who's now being favored is Umatlo. It's clear Ugutu Umatlo umdlali kaNtseki. And Uzwane did not play Umatlo that much. He was playing Uzwane. No. Who's this other person? Usamkelo Zwane nomdudu Shabalala. Both of those players are now not playing, and the player who's being played is actually Umatlo. Also, if you look at another area ye Chiefs that shows Uguti this is not Zwane who's coaching the team, he might be an assistant, is the fact that look at how Chiefs are playing when we are going forward. Solid, people are going to say Chiefs is solid at the back because can I say this? You cannot say the team is solid at the back just because they've not been conceding goals. Because that does not tell the full picture, right? Because defensive solidity means you are not also conceding chances. Tina, we concede chances. And it comes down to Peterson to save those chances. It's not too good to are solid and then nothing goes through. There are teams that are like that are solid at the back. Like Watchman City, look at how many chances they concede. I'm not even talking about goals. We're talking about chances conceded. We're not talking about goals. Because the problem is that if you concede a lot of goals and there's a high XG, expected goals against you, there will be a game, just one game, where you'll get exposed and all these chances that you are conceding will be turned and become goals. And all of a sudden, so bestuka ama defender, so bestuka keeper, so bestuka wonke umuntu. Why? Because we are conceding chances. So there might be uguti, we haven't conceded 5 goals. That's because the keeper saved 4 of those. The defense was beaten, done with. We still considered a goal, but the keeper was solid. That is why I've been so defensive of Peterson over the past few weeks, because I see how many saves he makes and how much credit he gets. He gets this much credit because the problem with Peterson, once again, is he's going to save 5 really difficult chances and concede 1 simple chance, and then people are going to forget the 5 chances that he saved, and then they are going to think about the 1 chance that he conceded. So that's what I'm saying, Guti. Just because the Chiefs are not conceding goals, that does not mean they don't concede goals. And yes, of course, there is no team that plays 90 minutes without conceding a chance. Well, there are teams that can do that, but Chiefs is not that well organized to say they are not conceding anything or chances at all. They are. However, I will also say this, Uguti. Yes, looking at the Chiefs right now, we are kind of looking better defensively than we did last year. But there are 2 reasons for that. The first one, 2 additional defenders. The second one is that now Chiefs are sitting way deeper than they were sitting last season. Last season we were taking games to teams, and then teams were catching us on counters, and then we were making mistakes. But even you look at the game against Galaxy, right? How we considered that goal. We're going forward, and then the ball is played. Umsimango relaxes, they catch him, he makes a mistake, the goal goes in. Same kind of mistakes that we considered like last season. You look at Igole Sundowns, once again, we're playing the ball from the back, and then what happens? Ukastio gets pressed. I know it's an offside, but it ends up being a goal. You look at the goal we considered against Sundowns last season. The ball was played to Ngezana. Ngezana makes a mistake. Sereno wins the ball back. The ball ends up being at the back of the net. So it's still the same goals that we're conceding, but you don't see much of that. The reason being, most of the times we are happy to just kick the ball and sit back and absorb the pressure and be the ones who are hitting the team on the counter. But if you look at last season, we were the ones who were taking games to teams, and then teams were attacking us. That is why we had a higher expected goals last season, expected goals to score. But now they are much lower because we are not creating as many chances as we were creating last season. So there is a clear contrast. Uguti Zwane is not coaching Kaizer Chiefs right now, and it's Unsegi. And I understand Uguti his strategy Skansegi might be, let's be solid at the back and then build going forward from there, because Zwane was solid forward and then a vuza move. So as much as he would score a goal up front, he would still concede. But with Unsegi, he's gonna sit, defend even if you're playing a bad team, and then score and then continue defending and then score like Amazulu, continue defending and then score, and then the game is 3-0, and then people come out and say the team played well, but the team actually just scored goals. Anyways, angikho lapha, I'm just pointing out ukuthi abadlali bakazwane, system kazwane, it's no longer as visible as we're seeing it. If you are going to refer to the last part of the season, yes, it Chiefs is then similar in that sense. But for the most part of the season, before all the injuries, before we sold up Bloom, it Chiefs were taking games to other teams, and it wasn't how it's looking right now. Now moving on to Kikentoli. Kikentoli, I saw him back in training, so that's good. I don't know Guti, was it an ACL injury, because ACL injury, he got injured in May, June, July, August, September, 5 months. 5 months. I don't think it was an ACL injury. Pele ACL injury takes the entire season if you tore your ACL. So I think it was something else. I don't know. They said ACL. Now I don't believe. Pele, I know ACL injuries, they take that long. Anyways, that could only be good news for Chiefs and us fans, because that means now Mtanzane is going to face experience competition from another experienced player in Kick and Toli. So I'm happy that he will be back, because Utoli, one of the things that we didn't notice about him is that his numbers were telling us a different story. Uguti was the most creative player in the Chiefs starting 11, but then people pointed out Uguti. Remember, Uguti is also the one who was taking crosses. So if you're counting chances created, they're also taking the corners that he was creating. But in any case, now he knows that he has competition. So Vele, after coming back, he will be hungrier and he will want to prove himself and win his position back in the team. So that can only be great. And another thing, mina yazi bafethu, before the season started, kuba ngathi ngiba negative. I asked on Twitter, I asked the management Chiefs, even Uvina Maposa this ukuthi, where are the games, ama away games the Chiefs or ama home games the Chiefs? Hakwathiwa sokutshela soon. How mangithatha ukubheka manje? And bengazi, all this time I thought the game ye Chiefs neSekhukhune would be here at FNB. How I'm finding out ukuthi it's in Durban. And obviously there are going to be people who are in Durban who are going to say, hey, why are you angry about that? I'm not angry about the game being in Durban. What I don't like is the fact that you're not telling us like ahead of time. Even like Bafana in South Africa, that's why we're behind in so many things. Ama-game Bafana couldn't plan for them, but they're announcing like a week before the matches play ukuthi ama-game izobse Orlando. A week before the games are played. Why not tell us ukuthi ama-games Bafana adlalelwaphi? Kube ne-standard ukuthi ama-games Bafana siyazi ngoSeptember adlalelwe Orlando, mhlambe ngoMarch kuyiwe eThekwini. Kube ne-standard and plan around that, because if England is playing, you know ukuthi they are playing at Wembley or wherever. Why can't we do that? There is a national stadium. FNP is the national stadium. But for fear of ukuthi stadium won't be full, then use Orlando. If you're not using Orlando, take the games to Mapit. Wherever, I don't care. As long as it's communicated, because now people, we plan. Yeah, but if I plan ukuthi, okay, I'm spending 300 or whatever much going to FNP for Uber because it's close by. But if I'm going to Durban, I'm not only going to double that budget, but I'm going to triple that, because I have to go to the thingy, to the bus station and back. That's already 300. Ngifike eThekwini, that's 700 home uyok travel. So 1,000. And now sekumele ngiplane manje, the month has already begun. I've already made the budget. But manje, because the Chiefs did not communicate properly earlier on in the season, sekumele mina ke manje inconvenience ukuthi, oh, we must plan to travel, because I am sure even the people in Durban, they have plans ukuthi they want to watch the Chiefs, but you don't just spring up things on people and say, they are fans, vele they love this team. Because I think that's another thing with the Chiefs. They know it doesn't matter what they do. People love the Chiefs so much that they'll be willing to change their plans and do whatever they want to do. That has to do with the Kaizer Chiefs. I don't like it because it's inconveniencing, but what can we say? Sizoya eThekwini, but better communication wouldn't hurt anyone. Just communicate, because as far as you know, home game Chiefs, ala FNP, no. Now lase Polokwane njalo, is it Polokwane? Yeah, lase Limpopo kodwa. The point is now lama game ase Limpopo, uzobona nje uzozwa nje sentshelo hawu game idlala kusasa. How by the way sepolokwane or week before, I'm exaggerating. But I don't like those kind of things yokuthi we have this team that is such a big brand, yet they're failing to communicate very simple things that you would think they would do. But it is what it is. We're accepting this abuse. It's fine. What did you think about this whole thing, Sithebe, system, and everything that I talked about? Let me know down on the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, remember, equals. Alpelumoy.